Hello, my name is Sherry, and welcome to the Godly Playroom in Wetaskiwin at First United Church. I'm so happy you could be here to hear a story and spend some time. I've also got Jackie and Ruth in the room with me, so I'm so happy to have their company today. So today we are going to hear a story about a saint. And I'm very excited to tell this story because I didn't know anything about this saint, and so it was a really great learning opportunity for me, and I hope it will be for you too. One thing you should know is that when I'm telling this story, it's actually the season of Pentecost right now, so you'll see red, but the story is told usually in the season of Easter, which is white. But when you hear this story later in June, it will be the season of green and growing after Pentecost. So lots of different colors. So, before we get started, I'll light our candle. Once there was someone who said such amazing things and did such wonderful things that people would sometimes wonder who he was. And one time they asked him, "Who are you?" And he said, "I am the light." There's my light. We'll put our light up on the counter. There. Now that's all part of getting ready. But how do you get ready? Sometimes it helps to get a comfortable spot where you know you can sit for a while. I've got a cushion. How about you? What do you have to get ready? Sometimes you have to clear your mind a bit too of all the things that you're thinking of and that you need to do, places you need to go. And sometimes it just helps to take a deep breath. And now we're ready. This is the story of Saint Catherine of Sienna. We remember Catherine, I should say, Catherine. I'm thinking of my sister right now. I should clear my mind. We remember Saint Catherine of Sienna during the season of Easter, during the season of white. Catherine was born in a city of red tiled roofs and steep streets. The name of that city was called Sienna. It is in Italy. She was born into a family she was number 24 of 25 children. Wow. It was a very crowded house. But she still found time to be close to God. When she was only 7 years old, she knew that that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to be closer to God. She began to find ways to help people. And so she worked as a nurse in people's homes and in hospitals. People were amazed by the things that she could do. She was especially busy during the Black Plague, when there was many sick people and people who died. Later, she went to visit Florence, and there she met a man called Raymond. I'm thinking of my brother Roger. She met Raymond of Capua. Raymond helped her on her spiritual journey. She said in later letters that he reminded that he was like both a father and a son to her, given to her by Mother Mary. Catherine liked to write letters. In one of her letters that she wrote to Raymond, she said, "Pardon me for writing so much, but my heart, my head, and my tongue, and my hands go along with my heart." Catherine also loved flowers. She would take flowers and she would braid them or weave them into little crosses and give them to her friends. She said that she would have many dreams about angels descending from heaven and crowning her with a wreath of lilies. People began to notice how holy Catherine was, and they asked her to come to other cities to help them discover what was fair when they argued with each other. She loved to travel with her little group of friends. One time she said that they were like a flock of birds. Even the church was fighting. There were 2 popes, and one of them went away to France to get away from the fighting. Catherine tried to help him make amends with Florence, another city in Italy, but she failed. But she did convince him to come back to Rome and live. One of the most important things Catherine did was she wrote a book called The Dialogue, and in it were conversations she had with her soul. In that book, she said Jesus was like a bridge. A bridge that had stone walls and a roof, so that the travelers wouldn't fall off and you wouldn't get wet when it rained. She said this bridge would take you from where you are right now to God. Catherine began to wear out. She was very tired. She started to not be able to eat or even to swallow water. She went to Mass every morning at St. Peter's Church and spent the rest of the day in prayer. Finally, she couldn't even walk. She died in the spring, and she was only 33 years old. In the Catholic Church, only 3 women have been honored with the title of Doctor of the Church. Catherine was one of them. We remember Catherine for many things, but one of them, most important, is that she worked to help people to be fair for God. So, I wonder, what did you like best about this story?
I like that she incorporated a group of friends to work with her.
Her flock of birds, I like that part too. I wonder what's most important about this story.
And she was willing to travel to other places. And I think that was something just thinking about, not just thinking about ourselves, right? But moving kind of outside of those walls, and other people recognized that in her, right? They saw her as somebody holy who could help them.
I wonder if there's any part of this story that's about you today, or where you might find yourself in this story.
I've been thinking about the letters and writing letters, because sometimes I'll sit down and write a card of thanks or whatever, but that's something that's almost lost in today's world. And I know when I receive a handwritten note from someone, it means the world to me, and I just think that was one of her ways of communication that was where I would be.
I think I need to remember I'm on the bridge. And I can't fall off. And I can't get wet when it rains. And I take that very symbolically, obviously, because I like getting wet when it rains. But thinking more of it as God's care and presence all around me, both supporting and holding. Yeah.
I wonder if there's any part of this story we could leave out and still have all the story that we need.
I wonder what she would have done if she hadn't died at 33.
Yes.
Right? Think about a life like I'm almost double that, and probably haven't accomplished as much. Certainly haven't nursed people through the Black Plague, thank goodness. But wonder, maybe, and that may have contributed, right, to an earlier death for her, who knows?
I'm going to start to put this story away, but you're welcome to continue wondering about it. And while I'm doing that, you can stop the video at any time to get your response items ready and your feast items for later. But for now, I'm going to put this away. So we'll start with the bridge. Somebody made a very nice little bridge here. And the flowers and lilies she loved so much. And the letters she wrote. And the book she wrote. And we remember her in the time of wait. She did die in spring, and she died actually in 1380. It was a long time ago. And that's why I guess we remember her in April. Welcome back to Response Time. I hope you found something that you can work with in response to the story. And I found a few things, but I did find it difficult to decide what I was going to respond to, because there were so many things in this story. She was such an interesting person, wasn't she? I guess that's maybe why she was remembered for so long, because she did a lot of things, but she also, from some of the stories, she sounded very eccentric and maybe even odd in some ways. Some of her ways she spoke about things and described things, and I liked the flowers. I could have done a response about the flowers, because that was really interesting, or about her travels, or about her mediations. That was very interesting. Her books, her letters, everything. But today I decided that what I thought, I got a bit of chalk here and some paper. I don't often use with chalk, so this is kind of new for me. I might not be doing it quite right, but oh well. Anyways, today what struck me in the story the most was that she called a group of friends that they were like a flock of birds, and they traveled with her. And I just thought that imagery was really quite beautiful and fun. She must have been kind of a fun person too, I think. But I guess you'd have to kind of find ways to stand out if you were the 24th of 25 children. Wow, I can't quite imagine what that would be like. But I guess she found her place in the world. Now I'm just going to put a little bit of green for some ground or grass, and then some sky. I don't know if this sky is going to be morning sky or evening sky. But it's colorful. Got yellow and pink and orange. I don't think there's a purple. Oh, there is a purple one here. Awesome. I like purple in the sky. But really it's kind of more up, I guess. Up higher. There we go. So there's sort of some ground and some sky. So now I'm going to try and make some birds flying. I don't know what kind of birds that she was describing as a flock of birds, but I've been seeing a lot of seagulls lately flying over, so mine are going to probably be more like seagulls than anything, because they're easier for me to draw. There's some birds flying in the sky. The bridge is really beautiful imagery too. I could have made a bridge, but I made green grass. I guess I could put some water here. And I can make a bridge. We'll make it a covered bridge, just like Catherine described. One to look after you while you go from where you are to where God is. Well, I'm way better at birds than I am bridges. So maybe I won't show you the end result, but you get the idea. I like the colors though. They're awesome. If you've never had a chance to work with chalks, they're kind of fun. So now we're going to be ready to enter into feast. So I think that I will move directly into feast, but you can shut off your recording for now and gather your feast items, and I'll join you. A little prayer. Thank you, Creator, for this feast. Thank you for all of the wonderful, amazing, interesting, and even odd people out there that do these amazing things and think of wonderful things. They are such a gift. Amen. Got a couple little strawberries today, but they're not from my garden, alas. My strawberries do have a few blossoms on them, but it'll be a little while before there's berries. And then the birds will come and eat them. I was thinking a little bit about Catherine and all the things she did and how brave she must have been to, first of all, as a very young girl, to nurse people who are sick with the plague. That was very, very courageous. And then to travel to other cities, and she would have still been quite young, and in those days, this was in the 1300s, it was not safe to travel, and it was very difficult. You had to either walk or go by horse, and it was always dangerous. And she must have really, really stood out for people like the church leaders and popes and others to actually ask for her and listen to her, being a woman in those days. It was so unusual. She must have just been a force of nature. And it was difficult times that she lived in, but she still wrote of very hopeful things. I mean, the world that she knew of had just gone through a plague that killed millions of people. Like 1 in 3 people would have died. Oh, it'd be devastating. And then the church was in turmoil, and the church was the center of everything in those days, for her too. And seeing it in turmoil must have been so difficult, with 2 fighting popes and people leaving and angry, and then there was wars going on then, lots of wars. So there was lots of disease, there was wars, there was unhappiness in the governance of the church, lots of division. But she was still full of hope and still wrote and still helped and still did things, even through all of that. Definitely an inspiration. That wasn't bad strawberry for being bought. It was okay. I hope you enjoyed your feast. But now is coming time for our closing. So we need our candle. And here's our light, right here. But I'm going to change it. Oh, there you go. I did. There it goes. Off into the world. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. Next week will be the last recording of Godly Play Sessions for the rest of June and July, and then we'll be coming back sometime in August. And so we'll see you next week. And I wish you well and be safe. God bless.